Now, by former lawmaker who represented the Jebu Central Federal Constituency at the House of Representatives between 2011 and 2019, Honorable Kende Odeneye, thank you for joining us on the program.
It's my pleasure.
Interesting days ahead. Your party has won, but now it has other battles to face. Let's begin with your thoughts on the zoning.
Yeah.
Senator Godswill Akpabio, Senate President, Barau Jibrin rather, is deputy, and the APC is proposing Abbas Tajuddin and Benjamin Kalu for the House of Reps. What do you make of these individuals?
Yeah, let's put it this way. The senators and the House of Rep members that the party has actually put forward are very, very fantastic individuals. But I have a reservation. I know quite well that the party is trying to prevent what actually happened in 2015, both in the Senate and at the House, although it was more pronounced in the Senate then. But the issue is this. The question is, has the party actually met with all its members, both at the Senate and the Reps?
Before arriving at this
decision? No. Because if they had met with them, every agitations would have been taken care of before arriving at a decision as to where do we zone to. It is important that the party has to zone, just to ensure that all the zones in the federation are represented.
Was that the case here? Because I'm just wondering, what do you think the party was thinking? Because there's no North Central did not feature here, and then we have like 2 candidates from the Northwest.
I was also surprised seeing that. Because whether we like it or not, APC won had votes in all the zones, though some zones produce more votes than the other. But when we're talking about inclusiveness and you want to carry everybody along, I feel strongly that every zone should have been represented. However, I want to believe that the party must have taken some things into consideration before arriving at that decision. But the major snag there is that did the party meet with the aspirants and their members as a whole?
So there's a part of the letter where the NWC was calling for further and better consultation with the necessary stakeholders. Perhaps that is going to happen after.
Yeah, I think they should have done that
before the announcement.
Because yes, they wanted to prevent what happened, most especially at the Senate in 2015. But if care is not taken, we might be having a bigger problem, most especially in the House.
We'll get there.
In the House.
Let's talk about the person the party wants to emerge as Senate President. Godswill Akpabio.
Yeah.
Was in the Senate, I think, 2015 to 2019.
Yes.
And then he's returning, former governor, former chairman of the NDDC. Some say he's a full-grown politician. What do you think he's bringing to the table, and what gives him a better chance ahead of others?
See, being a former governor who has also been in the Senate even before now, I think he has all it takes to also promote better governance with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the president. And again, if you look at his performance when he was the governor of Akwa Ibom State, I think he really performed very well. However,
you're not talking about his performance during
even at the
2023 election.
No, in 2023 election.
In
2023 election, if you look at Akwa Ibom, compared to what we have in the Southeast, you will realize that South produced more votes for the APC, far better than Southeast. And one fantastic happening then was that how could one describe where a senator won his elections with so much massive votes and the president elect now in the same party
at a very
minute. So looking at that, you realize that yes, it's not impossible that such situations were taken into consideration. However, if you look at what we have in House of Rep, proposing Kalu as the deputy speaker, it has effectively taken care of former governor Uzakalu also wanting to be the Senate president. The guy in House of Rep who is being proposed as the deputy speaker is also from Abia State. So Abia State cannot be the deputy speaker and at the same time take the Senate presidency. So invariably, and I think former Governor Uzakalu has also seen the handwriting. That was why he said he has not been campaigning because of the loss of his wife.
But in that same letter, he was campaigning.
He said he hasn't dropped.
Yes.
He said he hasn't withdrawn.
Members of the National Working Committee. And the 108 senators.
I guess that was before. That letter must have been before the decision of the announcement. Because if that announcement has been made, he wouldn't write that they should consider him. I think what he would have used is to say you should consider your earlier position.
If that is the case, let's talk about what happened after the announcement. Mukhtar Batara went on live television to declare his intention to run, and he did not do it alone. He did it with perhaps all of the
even the aspirants,
major aspirants. You know,
that's exactly why I said my fear is in the House of Rep and not in the Senate. Akpabio will win convincingly in Senate because I know that the sitting Senate president does not like that zoning, that confirmation of Akpabio. I am aware of that. And from what I have read so far, he does not want Akpabio. I guess there was something that happened when Akpabio was Minister of Niger Delta. There was an issue on NDCC that he said some things about the senators, which I guess the Senate president has not forgiven him. I even read they went to his house. You know, he went to his house with some of his supporters to beg him for his support, and he refused vehemently, and even had a meeting with Ashwaju where it was claimed in the press that he specifically told Ashwaju that Akpabio cannot emerge as the Senate president. But with the way things are now, and with the support that Akpabio is gathering in the Senate, I am very cocksure that Akpabio is going to win.
How much power does the outgoing Senate president wield in determining who emerges, you know, as a principal officer?
Unfortunately, he has so much power as a sitting president of the Senate, but he does not have the conscience of the members. Everybody has his own conscience, and he has people that they determine to support. The Senate president cannot determine for anybody. You understand? So he has power as Senate president, but he does not hold the conscience of the members. And that is why it's going to be very difficult for him. And if his support is for Uzokalu, now that we have a proposal of someone in the House of Rep from that same state to become...
It pacifies senators from that part of the country.
So that means there's going to be an issue in his support. I'm sure he might want to take his support away from Uzokalu and give to another person. Unfortunately, not too many people have officially come out from Senate to declare interest, apart from Uzokalu and Akpabio. You understand? So, but let's leave Senate. Senate, we won't have the case of Saraki in Senate. We won't have that. Whatever it's going to take for APC to ensure that on that particular day of inauguration and election, everything goes smoothly, I'm sure that the party is going to do it. They won't make the same mistake they made in 2015. In 2015, while Saraki and Co were making their plans, there was a meeting at Transcorp.
Okay.
Yes, I think at Transcorp, yes. There was a meeting going on with members. Nobody does that during inauguration. When you know quite well that there was a problem, nobody will do that. In the House of Rep, we may likely have a shocker, unless I believe in the president-elect, and I'm very sure that he will have a look, most especially into the House of Rep.
Let's take a minute to just quickly analyze the figures from the way it is. If you look at the Senate, for instance, where the APC has 51 seats, and then followed by, I believe, the PDP with 27, Labour Party has 7, NNPP 3, SDP 2, YPP 1, and APGA has 1. Now, in 2019, I believe that the APC had quite more than that, perhaps 60 or 60.
Definitely.
So the numbers are lesser 4 years after, and then followed by.
And you know, there was no ANPP then. There was an NNPP then, and
what determines, how senators or lawmakers vote? There's what the party says. You referenced 2015. Where what the party said did not matter. As a matter of fact, both at the Senate and the House of Reps, the anointed candidates did not emerge. What do you think determines how lawmakers vote in this regard?
You see, what I foresee here, if you look at the main contenders, you realize that Akpabio, even despite the fact that the party has written a letter confirming his, position as being the one being put forward as the Senate President position for the Senate President's position, he has not, he has not sat down. He's still consulting, and that is the game. You can't sit for the mere fact that the party has said, even if the 57, which is not possible, the whole 57 of APC may not necessarily vote for Akpabio.
51 actually.
51. All of them may not necessarily vote for Akpabio. So I know quite well that part of the PDP will vote for him. The NNPP will vote for him. Even the Young Party will also vote. So he has not relied on the party alone. Even with the fact that the party has put
to emerge now.
To emerge.
The candidate has to look beyond.
He has to look beyond his party. Because he's not going to be governing his party alone. He's going to be the president of the Senate on all the senators. And he must carry all of them along. It is one thing for you to emerge as Senate president. It is another thing for you to be able to manage the National Assembly as a whole. You understand? So, usually, the outcome of this election affects the working of the National Assembly. If care is not taken, whatever is taken away from this election will affect the House for the rest of the 4 years, except we have a Senate President or the House Speaker that is firm, very friendly, and can reach out, even after the election, to all the members.
It's a different ballgame if we switch to the House of Representatives, where APC did not get the statutory 182 seats needed to, elect a speaker. Look at the figure. APC has 175, followed by PDP.
It's a very dicey situation.
When you put all of the figures of the opposition together, they had about 182. And then they are even now threatening that they can front their own candidate and decide who the speaker is.
It's just a mere threat. They are making that threat so that they could have negotiations. There's no way all the opposition party members could come together
to decide
and vote against APC or decide that they want to produce the...
Well, they can decide who emerges within the APC.
They can decide...
Not necessarily being the anointed candidate.
They can decide who emerges in APC. And that is why the party has to be careful. I was thinking that, especially in the House of Rep, the party should have met with all the aspirants together. It is possible for the party to ensure that they all come together and pick one person. That would have been so beautiful that no other person will come against them. But in this case, you saw that when Betara declared, all other aspirants queued behind him. And they have agreed amongst themselves that at any point in time another person is making his declaration, other people will also be there. That is where I have my fear. Betara, let me come to Tajuddin Abbas. Tajuddin Abbas is a very good guy. We served together 2011 to 2015. He's a very fantastic guy, very knowledgeable, in the ethics and everything. But the problem I foresee is that even before the party announced, there has been, there was a time all the aspirants met with the current speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, to accuse him that he was flirting with Tajuddin Abbas, that they heard that Tajuddin Abbas is his anointed candidate. Whether that was true then or not, it has come out now from the party's position. He denied. And he said he only wanted all of them to campaign very well and work together as a party and all sort of things, and they should not rock the boat. Yet, unfortunately, the situation we have at hand now is a big dicey. We have 3 groups. The Betara group is there. We have a group that calls itself Joint Tax Group. The Joint Tax Group is a very critical group. Fortunately, that group has said that they are going to support whoever APC gives the position to.
But there's the greater...
And there's also the one they call themselves greater opposition.
Yes.
And I said that no matter how greater they become, they can never all speak in one voice. And that's what makes, because even amongst them that they call the greater, part of them are inside the joint tax that is supporting. Look at River State, for instance. Everybody, all the PDP candidates, members, they are likely going to go with the joint tax that is supporting APC. But we must be careful.
So the inauguration of the 10th Assembly is coming up 1 week after May 29th.
Yeah.
I think June 6th, thereabout.
June 6th, thereabout, yeah.
Does the APC have enough time, and what must it do not to repeat the mistakes of 2015?
I think what the party needs to do, most especially the president-elect, who everybody sees as a father, I think he needs to call all the aspirants together. Everybody has stakes. You understand? So call them together, let them sit down together, assure them of his support, and whoever emerges, let that person pledges his let that person pledges his loyalty to every member of that house. You see, what everybody is fighting for is recognition. But another thing is that if you listen to some of the aspirants during Betara's declaration, they said the house must be left to determine its members, to determine its leadership, so that leadership will not be controlled. There's no party. A ruling party cannot fold its hands, not even when you have a greater opposition numbers. You can't fold your hands and leave.
But as your party fully understudied the Saraki tactics of 2015?
That's why I said in Senate, it will be well taken care of. Okay. In the House of Representatives, I am very sure that Ashwaju would not fold his arms, because whoever emerges as Speaker and the Senate President must work hand in hand with the President of the Federation, so that we can have the beautiful dividend of democracy.
It's a good place to leave it. You must miss all this political action, do you?
Definitely. I miss all the meetings. I miss all the meetings.
Are you planning to return to the National Assembly?
By God's grace, 2027.
Oh.
I plan to. I've missed a lot.
Absolutely.
Yes, I've missed a lot.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
It's my pleasure.
On the program today.
Thank you.
Honorable Kendi Odene, former lawmaker, who was a member of the House of Reps between 2011 and 2019. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.